And then fast forward into college, that's when it really started, the bad things and me just going, I could never just have one of anything. It was always just an excess. And it was like, oh, party's over. Like, not me. Like, what? Party's still going.
Right.
Like, this is crazy. So that's kind of when things started to kind of go off the tracks. And then, you know, multiple encounters, DUIs and nonsense like petty theft and things of not how I was raised. And that's what's like really crazy is like you hear you guys, I'm with my boys, Shane and Chad at the Hopeaholics podcast. And
yeah,
we're about to get in, baby.
Natalie's in the house.
We are.
God, am I excited.
We are bringing the heat.
Heat.
You know we don't mess around.
Heat.
Come on.
Shit.
Come on.
God, I sweat alone. Now I'm double dripping now. I'm telling you, man. My head is sweating.
You didn't take any of that gum, did you?
No.
Okay.
No,
good.
none of the gum. I don't need these two. I don't need the gum.
What gum?
It's called work.
Cali Muscle has some gum.
Is it good?
Extra level stuff.
Yeah, it's got 50 mgs of caffeine and
nootropics.
And nootropics.
Oh, I'm gonna have
yeah,
a little
yeah. Well, we're gonna get you with Callie. We're all gonna get on board here and do business. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah,
it's gonna be good.
Yeah, man. It's gonna be good.
Do you like how you look in the image?
I'm good. Jonathan, are you good?
You guys all look great.
You know which one I really like?
This is the best lighting right here. That don't move it. Don't move anything ever.
We're gonna take a picture.
No. Just don't move it. There's no need to ever move it. Stop moving.
You know what playful little video I watched at least a dozen times with you guys is when she came out dressed up in different uniforms and you were, no, I don't think so, babe. I don't think so. And she came out doing her thing at least 30 times. You've probably watched it 30 times too, maybe more. That's a good one.
And I think the biggest response when we do stuff like that, it's funny because like my family or close friends or something will talk shit and they'll be like, "Oh my God, Jonathan, I'm dying." He's like, "You guys got to go to church."
Yeah, right.
Something.
Yeah.
One of his comments.
You got to go to church.
Got to go to church.
Yeah, I do.
Wow. Oh man.
I liked how you came out at that women's conference.
Oh, okay.
When you had the phone and you were like pumping everybody up, and hyping them up.
Yeah.
That's good.
Thank you. I feel like, you know, on certain things like on those occasions, I feel like there's multiple personalities to all of us. Like I can definitely rein it in and be professional and when the time is right. But on those occasions, especially when I'm coming in or I'm speaking of some sort, it's always so tight and airy and like people are not,
they're nervous.
They're nervous. They're on edge and like we all are nervous.
Yeah.
Like, I'm nervous too. But it's one of those things I want to bring that like comfortability and fun and like we're in this together type vibe. You
That's
know?
cool. You know who says hello is Joseph Mendoza. Okay. Tim Story's guy.
Yeah.
He was gonna come tonight, but he said send my regards.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And then the Miguel Aguilera from Self Made Gym. He was in here yesterday. Said pass my regards on to love.
No way.
He said Jonathan and Natalie. Every time we mention your names.
I love Miguel.
Yeah. He loves you guys.
He's awesome.
Yeah, he's
a
awesome.
cool dude. I'm like super happy for him and where he's at.
Yeah, totally.
And, like, everything that he's done.
Yeah, he's a good storyteller too, man. He just like we banter like this, you know, because I kind of think this podcast is a a mix between Joe Rogan because we got the table style and Logan Paul because we talk over each other.
Of course.
You know, not all professional like Joe Rogan and he's like asking questions and it's really,
Where's your notebook, bro?
Huh? Notebook? Yeah. Oh, yeah. You notice we don't like call you for a pre-interview because I don't want to know.
Yeah.
I don't want to know.
Everything I know, I either looked on your YouTube or your Instagram.
Oh, we were scrolling hard.
I was.
Yeah, we were. I was.
Yeah, I didn't.
I did.
Not really.
I wanted to get to know her a little bit. You know.
I just had one major question.
Yeah.
Wait, Michelangelo, are we live? We're live. Okay.
Oh damn, we're live. It's go time, baby.
Yeah.
I don't see the on air lit up.
Oh,
what's
Ooh.
going on?
What is going on?
You turned it off? What's going on?
I'm just kidding.
It's true though. It kind of.
I think it's on your side. Oh man. You're gonna have to get under the table. It is all on video.
Oh my gosh,
put
that's
the camera
hilarious.
on Shane
I
right
just-
now.
I just called Shane out real quick because obviously I'm obsessed with this whole set, and then the one thing that
Ow.
oh,
Did you put the camera on him, please?
but no, you guys, seriously, this spot is dope. Like, you did such a really, really good job. The whole
Yeah, it's on.
oh damn, Shane, you did it.
Yes. He wasn't good. I mean, he once he starts, he's gonna finish.
Oh, you damn right I am.
Yeah, so we kept upgrading just stuff. You know, we didn't really know what we were doing. The podcast exists because on September 11th of last year, 2022, I got a call at 7:30 a.m. From my daughter. It was a Sunday, and she never calls me that early in the morning. She's 22 years old, and I answered the phone, and she was screaming, and she had just found her fiance dead from fentanyl.
Wow.
So, and he was like a son to me.
Yeah.
He doesn't have like he had a fucked up family. And, you know, for the 5 years that he was with my family, he, you know, got to do things that he never got to do in his life.
Yeah.
You know, go on family trips and Mammoth and wakeboard and, you know, time of his life.
Yeah.
And he went out one day and bought a pressed Percocet off the street, and it had too much fentanyl in it, and that was it.
Oh my goodness, that just gave me chills.
And that's why I'm doing this, and I'm doing this until 300 million people, or whatever the population of the United States is, has heard my voice, and I have 20, 30, 40 million people following behind me or beside me, and we can force change, because I'm kind of tired of both sides of the political realm. There 300. I say 300. The CDC says like
120.
170.
Yeah.
Either way, I don't care. Let's do the CDC number. 170 people die every single day from opioid, most of it fentanyl. That's a large airplane going down every single day.
Yeah.
If a plane went down every single day, they would ground all flights. And they're doing nothing to stop the flow of fentanyl. So I'm using this platform. Thank God for fucking like these new platforms,
Oh
right?
my gosh, I couldn't agree more. And that's also, I'm incredibly sorry for your loss and for your family, because stuff like that is definitely something hard for people to navigate through. You know, dealing with a loss like that, especially somebody so young. But yes, thank goodness for platforms and people like yourself, you guys doing what you're doing, because that was one of the biggest things when I got a platform. And talking to Jonathan, I was so embarrassed about my addiction and alcoholism that I wanted to keep that hidden.
Yeah.
But then once I got WWE and started having my platform, and then being on the reality show of Total Divas, season 1, it was one of those things where it's like, you know, certain things in your life happen where it's like kind of a moment of like, what, this is kind of a changing moment.
Point.
What am I going? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so I wanted to go ahead and put my story out there myself and have that narrative from my mouth, as opposed to somebody on the reality show finding my mugshot or something that is embarrassing, and then all of a sudden I'm trying to fix the narrative that all of a sudden was already out there. So instead of just like own it and take that, and it's super powerful, and then not be in shame about it
or scared.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then once I did do that, that's when my eyes really opened of like, oh, I need to be way more vocal about my struggles with alcoholism and addiction, because the amount of people to this day that come up to me or DM me or email me saying either thank you so much, or I have 90 days, or my sister, my brother, my mom, somebody in their family is struggling, hearing your story, it helps them in some manner, where I was like, damn, this is so much bigger than my selfishness, in the sense of like living in a shame that no one cares. Everyone has shit they're dealing with
Everybody.
on a day to day.
Nowadays, it's like if you're not one of us, you're like in the minority almost. You know, it's like and I was really quiet too because like I became very successful in the drug and alcohol treatment industry, and I had a lot of time and I was sober and I was in the public eye, not like the general public but the public of my world.
Yeah.
And I was very well known and I relapsed, and I fell really hard. I mean,
Really hard.
How many years did you have?
9 when I relapsed. Yeah.
How long
I
did
was
you relapse for?
I was on a chronic relapser for 5 years.
Yeah.
After the 9?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What made you relapse? So I love this already because just how I'm learning as we're gonna navigate through this podcast because it's incredibly interesting for me because when I first got sober, I was 23 and I sat in the rooms and I listened to all these stories about relapsing and I was like, these fucking guys, like I'm never gonna relapse, like these fucking guys.
That's
so
how I was too.
and I relapsed as well.
Yeah.
But what do you remember the driving force that caused you to relapse?
I mean, for me, the biggest was I stopped praying. I stopped doing the things that I do on a daily basis to keep myself spiritually fit and in the proper mindset to, you know, navigate life, the difficulties of life. And Facebook was brand new.
Yep.
I was on I was on that TV show Intervention. Like,
oh my goodness. Okay.
Not as a client, but as an expert.
Sure.
And I was on there like, I don't know, 4 or 5 times. And all my friends I had disappeared for 9 years. Nobody knew where I was. And I went from being homeless to like super successful in that 9 years. And then all of a sudden I was on TV and Facebook and
You're the promises, man.
Yeah.
You're the promises.
yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
they were all there.
Yeah.
And one of my best friends called me and I was like, what are you doing? He was like, oh, I'm about to go in this chick's house and sell her some shit. And I was like, man, I'm about to go home to my family and my wife. And I don't know, just like, I was like, that sounds free. And I'm like doing all this real stuff, you know, real life stuff. And then I was like, I snapped out of it and I was like, I would never do that. I don't ever want to get high again. 2 weeks later, I was, called him up and I was like, can you get me, I just want to get high one time. Can you get me a quarter ounce of meth? A quarter ounce of meth for one time? That'd be like a quarter, right? Like like just
a quarter of a quarter. Yeah, a teener.
Yeah.
See, because one time to me meant Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then hopefully I was gonna not use on Monday.
Yeah.
But that's not what happened.
No bueno.
Yeah.
And then that relapse
5 years.
was a 5. Oh,
5-year run.
It was a 5-year like in and out of the program, in and out of treatment centers. I was deep into meth psychosis, working for the CIA, doing missions. Yep. Yeah. It was good stuff.
And you were married at the time?
I was married. She walked through hell with me. And I am divorced from her. And then I got clean for quite some time. Met my new wife and relapsed shortly after we got married for 3 months.
Wow.
Took her through hell. She stuck with me through it.
Totally.
Yeah.
And then what?
His ex-wife works 2 doors down.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, I know.
And then what made you say, okay, we're doing this?
Well, I had gotten a high-speed chase in a Lamborghini with the police.
It's like so funny. You need to meet my oldest brother because I kid you not, I cannot. And I feel bad. So apologies to my brother, but I love you so much. And I feel like his story is like so powerful and like needs to be, because he's on the other side of it now. And needs to be like, he's a great storyteller. I mean, he married Jonathan and myself. He just did this, I guess, the master of ceremonies for my parents' 50th anniversary.
That's nice.
So he can talk. He's the gift of gab. But I always say this too. I'm Mexican Italian. I use my hands. I'm very loud. And we like to talk. But any movie that I see where like a high speed chase is going, I always tell Jonathan, I swear to goodness, he's heard the story like 700,000 times because my brother, same. He's been in multiple. Yeah. But I'm always like, oh, they just need to find like something with the carport or something like where they can go under so the helicopters can't see you, you know? And then you can hopefully maneuver your way out.
He got away.
I did get away.
Nice. So did he.
But I got
that one time.
I only got away for a certain, because I was in a fucking Lamborghini. So,
crazy.
you know, they were, but I'll tell you
a
what.
green Lamborghini.
No, it was gray.
Oh, it was gray.
Really nice.
Okay.
Matte gray.
Matte gray.
Nice.
I thought it was the green one.
No, I never had a green one.
All right.
But I was in a meth-induced psychosis, and I'll tell you what, it's scary to be in a high-speed chase because you feel the sirens are so loud.
Yeah.
Even if you're smoking, and I wasn't looking in the rearview mirror to see where the cops were. I was looking ahead because I was going so fast.
Yeah.
And I was in a meth-induced psychosis, and I also thought that I could jump through time warp zones, and that's how I thought I got away, because I jumped through a time warp zone. But then when I got sober and I was going to court to fight this thing, I got the dash cam. Well, I was just so far ahead of them. When I turned right, they didn't know I turned right, and they went left.
Wow.
So I actually didn't jump through a time warp zone.
No,
it's really a bummer because I thought I did. And then I panicked, right? When I got away, I panicked. Where do I go? I should have just parked the car in a parking lot, jumped out and got an Uber and called it in stolen. But I was really scared. Yeah. I was panicking. I was like, just get home. Mm-hmm. Well, it was my car.
Just get home to the mansion where everyone knows you live.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I got there the same time the police got there.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That was the last day I saw that Lamborghini.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And I didn't get sober right then, but I had gotten in so much trouble that they had gave me a $650,000 bail, which I did, and then I was still out using, and the judge was like, "You need to go to rehab. If you're not in rehab within 30 days, I'm putting you back in custody." And I was in such a meth-induced psychosis, working for the CIA. I was doing missions out of my house.
You're working.
I was working, and I could also do telepathy at the time. So I told the judge, I was like, I can't make it to court tomorrow because I'm doing this mission for, I think Obama was the president at the time. And I told him this through telepathy. And he said, I understand. I know.
We forgive you.
They told me that, my lawyers go to court the next day. And the judge was like, "Where's your client?" And they're texting me, where are you? And I was like, I told him that I was
Oh my gosh.
You can't make this shit up.
No, you can't.
You really can't.
You cannot.
You really can't.
So at about 9, I don't know, maybe 7:30, 8:30
that night.
That night, or the next day, I don't even really remember for sure. A 6'8", 280-pound guy just kicked in my door, wearing a bail agent.
Oh my gosh.
Vest, and that was the last day I used.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what year was that?
It's 2016, 17. I stopped counting time.
Yeah.
I actually don't count time anymore, but it was July 9th at 2017.
Wow. And haven't looked back.
Nope. I told the CIA I could no longer work for them.
You handed in your credentials and you're like,
I was like, I'm getting too old and it's too painful.
Yeah, for sure.
But he does want you to throw him on a mat later. He's not too old.
I'm willing.
He's not too old for that.
I'm willing to get
injured.
I'm willing to get injured to go viral. I was telling them out there yesterday, I think I was like, maybe she can throw me and I'll just like do a roll. And they're like, well, you're going to get hurt. And I'm like, that's fine. Yeah, my arm might be hanging like this, but I'll just be like, I'm okay.
But we got the views. We got the views.
Exactly.
It's so funny because there's on multiple things that I do. They'll ask, can you like kind of like put me through a table or do something, even at the women's conference. And Jonathan has repeatedly told me, you're not touching anybody
because they're going to sue
you. Yes. He's like, we're not dealing with any of that.
No,
I was like, okay.
Take all the fun out of my life, Jonathan. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. God,
just let her throw me,
stick in
dude.
the mud, Jonathan. Throw Jonathan. We'll just put your face in there.
I know. I can't remember who it was, but I think I was just going to do like just a little suplex. And Jonathan's like, you don't understand. Like nothing is a little anything.
Yeah.
I did just like regular little like chops on Jonathan.
And they hurt.
Yeah. He was like, don't touch me ever again. Like that shit hurts.
I know.
Like stop that. So
It actually does hurt, doesn't it?
it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
It
even
definitely
the slaps, because you hear the slaps. Yeah.
Like you can't.
No.
You can't really fake that.
No, you can't fake it.
I watched the WWF when I was a kid. I was just like, this was like Hulk Hogan era.
Yeah.
And I used to love it. I went to WrestleMania like 3, I think. WrestleMania 3 maybe?
Wow. Yeah.
You're old.
I know I am.
You're really
I'm going to be 50 in January. Getting up there.
Oh yeah, I would never think that. So you look good.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
For 50?
Yeah, my sister owns a med spa.
Okay. Yeah.
I was thinking
I'll have to hit her up.
I was thinking that earlier. I was like, I wonder how fucking bad I would look, how old I would
your
look
sister
if
didn't
I
own a
didn't
med
have
spa?
my sister
Yeah.
and her med spa.
Well, not only that, but if you think about it, shout out to her med spa. So you should be plugging it
Yeah.
because
What's the name of it?
yeah.
Belgianese. It's
Belgianese.
in like
Ladera Ranch.
Yeah.
Because think about your journey and just sobriety and being out running and gunning. It's a rough life.
Yeah, it is.
Especially
It
that
is.
meth. I was stay up for 14, 15 days. This isn't like a joke. Like I wasn't drinking water or eating.
Yeah.
That's why I was in such a crazy psychosis. It was funny because like, we had Bob Menery on here and he knows nothing about like the real insanity of this stuff.
Yeah.
And I was telling him I worked for the CIA and
He thought
was
it was
like,
real.
He thought
Yeah.
he thought it was serious.
Yeah.
He was like, "Oh, I didn't know I was sitting with a couple feds here."
That is so crazy. It is really wild because any little things that I tell Jonathan, because, like when we were having a chat before hopping on the podcast, like he's such a normie. So it's so hard for him to grasp like the lengths and just the insanity of things, whether it's I've done, my brothers have done, bless my parents for the things
How
that
many kids in the family?
There's 4. I'm the
4.
youngest of all boys.
Yeah.
So we put them through the ringer. Like they are pretty incredible in the sense of, things that my brothers and myself put them through, they should be divorced 17 million times just because I couldn't imagine the stress that the kids
Could have brought them together though. They lean on each other.
That's a positive way to look
Right?
at it.
Yeah. They lean on
Look,
each
Mom,
other.
my bad behavior brought you and Dad closer.
Yes. Turn it around on them. Yeah. But you guys are good now. I always ask them, are we good? Like they're older. So I always say, look into her eyes. Like, are we good? She goes, yeah, we're good.
When did you start drinking?
So I didn't.
Do you have a drug of choice? I'm sorry, 2 questions at the same time.
So my drug of choice was cocaine. Cocaine was my thing. You talking about 8 balls and things like that?
Yeah.
All day long.
Yeah.
No problem. That's like breakfast.
Yeah.
So I didn't start dabbling into any of that until really college because I was always, an athlete. Soccer was my main thing. I wanted to be a professional soccer player. And then and you have to remember, I'm the youngest of all boys.
Yeah.
And I have an Italian father, Mexican mother. So my household was strict.
And strong.
Like, strict.
Yeah.
So as soon as I moved out of my parents' house and went to college, I was like, oh shit, no curfew. I could Mom and Dad is not here. Like, this is wild. So as soon as kind of like those little handcuffs came off, it was almost like this other person kind of evolved. And then as soon as soccer was, and I didn't realize this then, it's more after doing, the work and going through the steps and looking back and all of that work that I hate doing, but is required. I didn't realize that I was missing like a massive part of my identity. Like sports was everything. I was, captain of my team. So I had people relying on me. I wanted to win. I wanted to be great. I wanted to be good. So I always had that driving force. That's basically what got me through college. But then as soon as that was removed and taken away, it was almost like, now what? But then, you know, I had my first sip, and I'll never forget it, which is crazy. I had my first sip of peppermint schnapps in the 8th grade, just off of merely like dumb girls being stupid and just like, oh, I took this from my parents and like, let's have a sip. And I remember taking a sip of that and thinking like, oh, I love this. Like it felt like warm and good. And like the fact that I remember that being in the 8th grade is like nutty. And then fast forward into college, that's when it really started, the bad things and me just going, I could never just have one of anything. It was always just an excess. And it was like, oh, party's over. Like, not me. Like, what? Party's still going.
Right.
Like, this is crazy. So that's kind of when things started to kind of go off the tracks. And then, you know, multiple encounters, DUIs and nonsense like petty theft and things of not how I was raised. And that's what's like really crazy is like you have this like, I think, stereotype of what an addict or an alcoholic is, or at least I did, which is like someone that's like homeless, living under a bridge immediately, or doesn't have family, or grew up terrible. I don't have any of that. I grew up, my parents gave me everything that they worked for, in the sense of, I feel like I don't have children, but I would assume that when you have your own kids, you try to provide anything that they didn't have. So you want to give to your children. Yeah. So like my mom, you know, she was born in Mexico, came over here, worked her ass off. Same with my dad. He lost his father at 16 from cirrhosis of the liver, and then was basically on his own. So he didn't have like that parent figures giving them that like push. Yeah. So my parents were right there with all of us, in the sense of the support system, and all of the things that you would think to potentially thrive, and you know, turned up to be a full-blown alcoholic addict out of that. So that's like the thing that I feel bad about, in the sense of it has nothing to do with my parents or like how I was raised. It just is in me. Yeah. And then it's controlling the beast. And it's a daily work of controlling the beast, because I got sober at 23. So what's really crazy too is at the same time, my oldest brother was in prison. He was in San Quentin, and I was in county jail out here. Wow. And my poor mom was writing letters to both her oldest and youngest. And this is why I like getting to meet your dad and stuff, and how he's writing a book. I always have this, I guess I'll call it a dream, right? I'm looking at Jonathan, like, give me the words of, I would love for my brother to write a book from his perspective, my mom to write a book from her being the mother of her children, and then me writing the perspective of being the daughter of. I like that. That's different in a 3-part series.
Yeah, exactly. One book, 3 parts to it.
To hear
different views.
Different views.
Yeah, I like that. That's a new angle on anything.
Yeah. Yeah. And especially like a mom's view too. And we were raised very much like, you don't put your shit out in the street. Mm-hmm. So like nobody knew anything of that nature was going on. So to the general like neighbors and public and stuff, oh, the Nelsons, everything is squeaky clean. But meanwhile, like destruction, is going on. And my parents trying to keep things together and
the lid on.
Exactly. Yeah. And they did a hell of a job. Like
Catholic, Christian?
Grew up Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. First communion. I had a quinceañera. Yeah. Like very much, that religion. So that's why even when I got into the programs, like I had no ill relationship with God. Like God's my higher power. Where I know a lot of people struggle with that. Yeah. I mean, they have a whole chapter in the big book and stuff like that. But why I do like Alcoholics Anonymous is because anybody that has a problem with religion, it's totally separates that. Like have the tree, have the ocean, like your dad was saying. As long as you don't believe that you're the shit and you're running the show. And I always say this, clearly I'm not good running the show because I wound up in AA. And like that is not the spot that I wanted to be in.
Yeah, right.
That's why I relapsed, because I decided to run the show. Yeah. That is the fact. And sometimes it gets hard, because for me, like, it's hard to pray when life is really hard.
Yeah.
For me, it's like I want to take control, and But when everything's like hunky dory, I'm just like, yeah, God,
Come
doing
on
my
in.
thing. Come on in.
Yeah.
It's
But
kind of like both for me. Sometimes for me, in order to change, I have to be in severe pain
Yeah.
and have that desperation.
Yeah.
But then also too, when things are good, I'm like, shit, I'm good. I got this. When it's like, no, I'm just trying to stay like even keeled. My dad always says, don't have too many peaks, too many valleys, just like try to be right here. And I want to be right here. But like
it's hard though, because your character, we bounce.
I do.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And so like my highs are super high and my lows are super low.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's where I try to continuously keep somewhat of a balance, because I relapsed after 3 years. So I got sober at 23 because my oldest brother, and I'm so like, and this is where I'm like, thank you God for having this happen, because he ended up getting out and he came and moved down south with me in Orange County. And so he was the one was like, hey, you need to hit up AA, because he got sober then. And I was like, oh, okay. And I looked up to him. So I was like, I guess. So I go to a 6 a.m. meeting in Yerba Linda, and that's where I met my sponsor. I leave the meeting, tell my brother, and he's like, well, did you go up to the lady? Because I heard her name is Mo. Shout out to Mo. I love you. Did you go and talk to her?
Yeah.
She spoke and you liked what she said. Did you go and talk to her and say, I would really like you to, sponsor me? And I was like, no, I didn't. And he was like, oh my God. He was like, well, you need to go back and hopefully she's there.
Yeah.
And then approach her and see if she's taking on any sponsors. And I was like, okay. And this is where God, this is where I'm always like, God, I need to get socked in the face for things to happen.
Yes.
I need massive things like that.
Yes.
And we end up going to Friends Church in Yerba Linda. We're sitting there. Great. And they have the big screens, so you can see the
congregation.
Exactly. All of a sudden, this woman is singing and she's on the screen. And I'm like,
it's her.
Neil, that's Mo. That's her.
That's awesome.
That's the lady. And he was like, there's your sign, dummy.
In the church.
Singing.
Singing part of the choir.
Go back to that
awesome.
meeting and get her. And so I went back to the meeting and ended up asking her. She took me in. 3 years, promises were coming. So I was like, I got my license back, which is huge. I didn't have that.
Yeah.
All of a sudden I got a car, so I wasn't walking places. I mean, the insanity of things, because you forget when you put together some years, you kind of forget how crazy you were. At one point in time, my senior year of college, I ended up moving into an apartment, and I got that apartment because I had totaled my car, I got a hematoma, broke my nose, busted up, missed my best friend's bachelorette party because nuts. I woke up in jail and then obviously had to get out and all the nonsense. Go down to I'm remembering having to go down to what is it called when you basically,
how many words?
the car when you're impound.
Okay,
yes,
see, we got it.
you.
One word.
Thank you.
That was good.
I've had
We
my
could
car
hear you,
great.
bro.
Yeah,
I've had my car impounded a few times.
I'm amongst fellow friends.
Yes.
My language, my lingo. So I'm down there and getting my things, and I'm like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? I have no car now. I'm walking places. This is crazy. I had to finish my last year of school. So anyways, I found an apartment, but the big thing about that apartment was there was a previous murder in it.
Oh.
And it will be heavily discounted. I was like, cool, let's
Yeah,
go.
right.
Yeah.
I'll light some candles and
Do your
name
little
of Father, Son, Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
Some sage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any normal person would be like next. So those are the things. But after the 3 years,
It's true. They would be next. It spooks people out.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
The
They would be
normal
like, no
person
thanks.
would say
Especially
no.
the murder was literally committed in the apartment,
Yeah.
dead body,
Yeah.
the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then here I come in, moving all my things,
Right.
hey,
Yay.
hey,
It's
this is
party.
great.
Yeah, it
Exactly.
seems a little bit like a horror movie,
Yeah.
right? You move in and there's just a murderer that murders people that go to that apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah, that never crossed my mind. I was just like, sweet, I'm broke and I need to walk, and school's literally across the street, so this is going to be great. But same thing, after 3 years, I all of a sudden thought, I'm good. I got this. Things were coming back. I was feeling good. And I call Mo up and I'm like, thank you so much. I love you. Appreciate everything, but I'm good. like as if I graduated,
Yeah.
And she's like, well,
Where are you going?
Same old deal. Like, she's like, I highly don't suggest that, but okay. And then sure enough, same thing. Like, I had 2 years of like in running and gunning. And I was like 9 years white knuckled it, 9 months white knuckled it for a little bit. And then out, like, never left. And it got dark quick.
Yeah.
Bad.
Yeah.
Really bad. And then finally I put myself in a rehab. That didn't work out in the sense of, your dad mentioned it too, which I totally agree. For a person, and this is what I believe, I don't know, for an individual that has the disease, if they do not have the willingness in themselves to really truly want to do it, to want to get sober and go to any lengths, it ain't gonna work. So like, if my parents put me through rehab, that's not gonna work. Like, if your loved one wants to put you through rehab, or somebody that, which we all see all the time, you have a friend, a close family member, or somebody that, or significant other that is going through it, and you want to help them so much, and you think like, okay, let me just put them in rehab. It's going to help them. It could, hopefully, maybe a light bulb will come on.
They're planting a seed
Something,
at least.
exactly.
Yeah, right?
But usually it takes that individual to really be sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Desperation has to set in.
Completely.
Yeah. That was the best thing that was ever given to me, and I don't ever want to lose that gift of desperation ever again, because I don't ever want to feel the way I felt the day that bail agent kicked in my door. I hadn't eaten in weeks. Like the best I could do was order a pizza, and I'd always get the meat lovers because I was thinking, oh, I need meat, right?
Yeah.
And then I'd be so like spun out and psychotic that I would see the souls of the freaking animals on the meat.
Yeah.
And then I couldn't eat the pizza.
Oh, fuck.
It was crazy,
That's nuts,
dude.
bro.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah, that's whacked out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's scary.
You saw
It is.
You saw
Like, and
little
then
ghosts floating over the pizza.
And it's crazy because it's like, some people can get stuck in that insanity and never come out of it.
100%.
100%.
Well, that's, I completely agree. I feel like my biggest fear that I have, that I don't want to go, like, I don't want it ever to leave me, is the fear of relapse. Like, because I have relapsed, and getting back to sobriety, and like you hear it in meetings too. I used to always hate going to meetings. I still, people that follow me, you already know. Like, I bitch and complain about the program, even though I love the program, because it requires work and it requires effort.
Yeah.
And like, I have to attend meetings and
Leave the comforts of your home. And
totally. And actually like participate and then, check in with my sponsor, do my work, sponsor other women and do this whole thing, and I'm like, why do I have to do this? But then on the flip side, when I look at it in the positive aspect, I'm like, you know what? There's a lot of people that are normies that I think would benefit from the program.
Yeah, we were talking about that all the time.
For sure.
Yeah, 100%.
Just the accountability. I mean, like, my marriage is very much where is night and day from any relationship I've ever had in the past. Before, I would definitely be like, oh, it's not my way. Peace. Like, see ya. And it's not like that anymore.
Nice.
I have
take a look at yourself
totally.
first.
Yeah. And it's funny because I think I was like 3 or 4 years into my sobriety that I have now, and I had stopped doing what I was doing, meaning like I was still sober and I was working a ton, but I wasn't going to meetings. I wasn't doing like the deal that I should be, praying, meditating, all that stuff. And I got super suicidal and like very depressed. And I finally told my sponsor, and my husband, bless his heart, because he's partners with people that have the disease, takes a lot of patience and a lot of strength on them. But he was like, I need to call your mom, because my mom's my best friend. I talk to my parents every single day. And then finally I told my sponsor like what was going on, and she's like, well, what are you doing? Nothing. Like, literally nothing. So she's like, well, maybe, how about you and I wanted to go on like medication and everything like that. And she's like, how about we do this? How about you start doing your program again? How about you do your marching orders like you're supposed to? Go to meetings, raise your hand, share. Because I used to always want to like sit in the back, not raise my hand. And I try to like super selfish, like go in, take whatever I want to take from meetings, and then bounce. And then that's it. So I started doing that, and then lo and behold, all of a sudden I felt a hell of a lot better. I ended up getting a sponsee who now her life is completely like changed. I think that's what the beautiful thing about the program too, is seeing somebody come in broken, a mess, beat up, bad, and then all of a sudden flourish into something that is where I didn't even think was possible. Is pretty amazing. So then it's like, damn, okay, the proof is in the pudding. Like, this shit works, but you got to work it. It's like annoying because the cliches, you know what I'm saying? It's like so annoying. And when I share at meetings too, I'm always like, damn, I hate when I say like a cliche of the program, but it's so true. Like, it is an easy ass program. It is, but it requires effort.
It does.
You know, it's just like the gym.
You just got to take these 12 simple steps.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, the first 3 are really easy, right?
Yeah.
They're really easy.
They are.
The next 1, 2, 3 until 9, right? So the next 4 through 9 are difficult.
They are, because that's like when you're really putting pen to paper.
10 is difficult.
Yeah.
It's difficult to like make a mistake today, because 10 is a daily
recapture of your life.
Like, you know, if I do something to wrong you today,
you gotta
and
call
then
me.
I've got to
You got to FaceTime me.
Yeah. You know, and I'm like, have to admit my wrong.
Yeah.
I hate that shit.
I know.
And you know where that happens with me the most? At home with my wife.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn it, I was wrong. Why did I lash out? Why did I, you know, because when you're married for a long time, somebody can push your buttons. They know exactly what to say to get a reaction out of you. And it bothers me when I react. Because I'm like, Chad, you know better than to react to that. Like, you work a program.
I know. That is the hard thing, because then it does make you, and it happens a lot. Like, I'll call Jonathan, or like I'll
makes you the more responsible one in the relationship almost.
Well, and he also takes me more serious as well, where he's like, okay, like the logic behind her thought process is actually there. Yeah. Where it's like, I'm not just like some cuckoo bird, you know, or just like flying off the handle over anything.
It's probably comes natural to him, though.
Yeah, it does.
Just like, oh, I hurt your feelings. I apologize.
Yeah.
Totally. He is very much it. I make a joke of it because, and I'll share about Jonathan in meetings, because I'm like, it blows my mind how he, like, things to me that take so much effort.
Effortless.
Effortless, where I'm like, how? Like, you're a unicorn.
He's just naturally loving guy.
He's just and thoughtful and like.
Good for you.
I know, good for them.
Yeah, good for you.
That's why I married him.
Yeah.
Because, man, for me, it takes work. Yeah. It really does. And I have to really, I mean, even, and he's good with it too. If I don't hit meetings, say for a couple weeks, and whether it's little things I'm saying, or maybe I'm a little short or something, he has no problem with like, hey, when was the last meeting you went to? And my immediate reaction wants to be like, fuck you. What? Don't talk to me about my program. You don't know. And then, you know, but I don't. I have the little voice in my head being like, when was the last time?
Right.
And I'm like,
maybe I should go to a meeting.
You're right. Maybe I should. Yeah. So having that person is good.
What do they call it in the program? Restless, irritable, and discontent.
Yeah, for sure.
Start to get a little bit of that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I got a name for my wife, May.
You what?
Mary.
That's
her nickname.
Oh, okay.
When she's restless,
Crazy
irritable,
Mary.
and
Crazy Mary.
Wait, is she alcoholic?
No, she's kind of normie now. She was in recovery, but now no.
Oh, okay.
So she kind of still goes off. Hey, Mary.
Oh,
love you.
Okay.
I kind of feel like, you know, there's these people, right? There's these people that had a problem, check themselves in, and then they don't really have a problem anymore. But you know, I don't know what they call them in Alcoholics Anonymous. There's names for them, but there's like people that come into the program, and then Alcoholics Anonymous says, if you can drink, we take our hats off to you. I'm not one of those.
Me neither. I tried.
Yeah.
I really did.
I took every best effort, but it's like, oh yeah, I can cuss on my own.
Yeah,
podcast,
you can.
Right? Do you cuss?
I do. I've been.
She said F
Oh,
word.
she
She's
She just said F, or did she say fuck?
no, she said fuck.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
I try to tone it down because my on one podcast, my parents listened to it, and my dad was like,
Honey.
"You did really great, but
you said a bad
and I'm
word.
like, Dad, but
Were you like,
I
Dad?
learned it from you, dog. Like, come on."
Right?
I was just gonna say that. Who the fuck thinks that you can recreationally use meth?
Right.
Intravenously.
You
Sure.
can't.
Like that's my drug of choice. Intravenously
Yeah.
putting methamphetamines into my veins.
No good.
It's not
No.
possible.
Not suggested to do.
No.
No.
Brings back the CIA.
Yes,
and then I'm
bad
fighting
stuff.
with the FBI.
Bad
So
stuff.
I'll tell you one funny story though, because I was like deep into it. And
Yeah.
my ex-wife had kicked me out, so I was staying at my parents' house, and
Oh yeah, this is a good one.
I had some. I'd been up for like probably, I don't know, like 7 days or something. I found some cough syrup with codeine. Took me a cap full of that. Well, because I knew I was just like off the charts, and I just like get that so it's like a mania.
Yeah.
And there's no way I'm going to sleep. So I found that, and then all of a sudden I fell asleep for a minute, and then I woke up and I was like, shit, the fucking FBI is here. So I went out and I thought the FBI could morph. And so they had morphed into my parents. So
Yeah.
I thought they
yeah.
had taken my parents out of the house,
Yeah.
and they had morphed.
Into-
and so I came out and I was like, Mom, if you're really my mom, what's my birthday?
Oh my gosh.
And she said, January 9th of 1973 or something like that, which was wrong. I was January 8th of 1974, and I was like, this is the FBI. So I ran into my room.
You got a couple.
I grabbed a Nerf gun.
Yeah, I started shooting them.
I started shooting my parents with the Nerf gun.
Oh my gosh.
It's not really funny.
You can't make this shit up, bro. He started shooting his parents with the Nerf gun because he thought they were working for the FBI.
No, I thought that they were the FBI.
Yeah, they were the FBI.
Yeah, your parents need to write a book.
Yeah. Yeah. He did.
And my mom listens to every single podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, she does.
Yeah. From in its entirety.
Yeah.
They have to be so proud.
Yeah.
They do.
They actually
Now.
are.
Yeah, they
I mean,
are.
yeah, like, my whole family got a brand new life because of my disease. My dad co-founded this place with me in 2002. My mom came on board 3 months later. My sister's a nurse. She came on board like a few years later. And this is just a whole new life for everybody.
Yeah.
Hope by the Sea went
A
from
big, beautiful life.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're playing a lot of people too, not just your life. You got 150 employees, all their families.
164.
164 plus 200 clients a month. So
Yeah.
you're affecting 200 families every day too, bro, every month.
Don't remind me, because
It's crazy.
It's just very stressful.
It's
when you
crazy.
start
No,
talking about
and not
it.
only that, but like what I see too is like the fact that you were able to go 9 years, create this with your family,
Yeah.
then relapse out whatever the 5 years. That right there is, I couldn't imagine the amount of pressure on the shoulders of somebody that has created something based upon being sober, and then now you're not.
Yeah.
Right.
And then having to face that music basically, and then be able to find your way back.
Yeah.
That's huge, because that's my biggest fear is when I go into meetings and I hear people and their stories, is there's not a lot of people when they go out make it back in.
No.
And if they do make it back in, they don't make it back in with a vengeance.
Right.
No.
I came back with a vengeance, and so I fell in the public eye, in my public eye. And I when I got clean this time, I shut down all the public from looking at me. I changed my Facebook. I built a new one. It was friends, people that I knew intimately, and my Instagram. I had like 65 followers on Instagram.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't ever want to do that again.
Right.
And then my son, I call him my son-in-law.
But yeah, your son.
When he died and God had put it back on my heart to do this, I knew that God was telling me that I was in a space where I was good enough to be back in the public eye. and be successful.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's been 90 days. We started 120 days. We started the Hopeaholics.
Okay.
And we had 0 followers on the Hopeaholics, and we're like at 27,000.
Yeah, it's been a good 90 days. People
Yeah.
really caught on
I mean,
heavy. Yeah,
because you know why? Because it's something that is real out there.
Yeah.
There's so many people that are struggling with it. I
Yeah,
didn't realize
man.
it until I started talking about it, how many people it affects. Not only just like the person that is struggling with the disease, but it's the people that are around them that it's affecting.
Yeah.
You know?
That's why we started these Recover Out Loud meetings, because it's not the Recover Out Loud isn't to replace a 12-step meeting.
Right.
It's to bring a voice. It's to be a voice, and I decided to be the voice for the families that have lost their loved ones.
Sure.
Because most of the people, they can't get on these microphones after losing their son or their daughter, and you know, I can, and I'll be a voice for them. And the Recover Out Loud meeting brings us all together: the addicts, the family members of
cool.
loved ones lost. So we do a Zoom meeting every
Tuesday
night, and now we have the Friday night. Well, this will be the first one tonight.
Oh, it's the first one?
Yeah, it's just a
one.
fluke that
I mean,
you're
it's
here, man.
really
It's just
Come on,
really
guys.
weird.
You know you planned it based around me.
God,
being
can you
here.
imagine? Yeah. Well,
So-
maybe he did.
I didn't.
I'm
No,
just
we
No,
didn't.
we had picked it, and then you might have scheduled first, but we had picked the date, not realizing it.
Yeah.
Because
Well, yeah, it was something that I had already we had already set the date for me coming on here, but then it was just like, oh, by the way,
Yeah.
if you're cool with it, to come down
Yeah.
to the meeting. So
Yeah.
the meeting just happened to fall on the
Yeah.
same day.
Happened to fall on the same day. It was great.
Yeah.
And then you said yes, and we're like, whoa, she's nice.
well, a lot of
He's nice too. And we're like, oh God, they're actually nice people. They're not gaudy or off. You know what I mean?
No.
Yeah.
a lot of people that I know you just from, I guess you used to live in Orange County.
I did. Yeah.
So
What are you trying to say?
I'm not trying to say anything.
No,
I'm not-
you have a good
I'm not try-
reputation.
I'm not
okay.
trying to say anybody ever broke your anonymity. That's
Yeah.
what I'm trying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Yeah, both Jonathan and I. So Jonathan lived in Orange County. Yeah, I think for what? How long?
Oh
yeah.
wow.
Yeah, and so then he was in like the fitness world, like
Yeah.
when it was OCCF and stuff like that. And then I lived in Orange County when I was finishing school at Cal State Fullerton, and then LA. So yeah, Orange County. It's crazy when we're being back in town. It does make you miss how beautiful California is.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Texas, but
I was gonna say though, I still haven't asked you the one question that I wanted to ask you, but I also had thought, because now that you brought up Texas, I'm like, man, I want a ranch like yours.
well, thank you. It's very many. The fact that you call it a ranch, thank you very much.
You
Makes me
have
feel like I'm
animals,
balling.
goats. Do you have goats?
We don't, but I keep posting on my Instagram, hoping that like it kind of manifests into
Right.
one.
Hopefully Jonathan picks up a
Because-
few goats. You know
Yeah.
what? You know what?
Like a goat's gonna
Fuck
show
Jonathan. Fuck Jonathan. I'm buying you a goat. Okay, this week I'm buying her a goat on Monday. I'm going to ship it to you guys.
Are you the one that
Sorry,
posted the goats
Jonathan.
dancing?
Yes,
On the, yes.
yes.
Okay, yes.
Sorry,
I
Jonathan.
post. No, well, okay. So basically,
All right, no goat then?
this. Okay, I'll tell you why.
All right, tell me.
So I post the goat, like the dancing one, because
Yeah.
the goats are literally like Natalie in a nutshell, because they're fucking crazy.
Crazy,
They're
yes.
crazy, and then like they're spastic, and one like kicked off the other goat from the table, and it's like hilarious. But the problem with the goats are, they will fuck up anyone, like your car. They get on the hoods. They have no problem with that. The goats reproduce, right? And then they reproduce like crazy, like rapids.
Oh, yeah.
So you start off with like say 1 or 2, and
you're
then all of a sudden
finished.
you have like 150.
And they finish the grass off. There's no grass. They eat it right down.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They eat it right down.
But, like,
So it's ungrowable.
But the little ones are so.
They are cute.
They are so
All right,
cute.
Jonathan,
So I
you give
find
me the
them very
green light.
funny.
I'll get you a goat. If you want a little baby miniature goat, one that doesn't eat or big enough to get on the hoods, we'll gladly deliver one. Yeah, you know what?
Oh my
That's
gosh.
an even better. I'll bring a lamb.
But yeah, so it is really fun, and it's enjoying. My parents enjoy watching us be,
Yeah.
city kids out and not knowing what we're doing.
Shooting gun. Here, my kids are coming in.
Oh,
Oh, that's my daughter. That's my 14-year-old daughter.
Isn't it? That's what I said too. It's awesome, right?
This is Jonathan. This is Natalie.
You are so beautiful. Okay, I love you already. Compliments get you everything.
She's
She's so natural.
She's
so natural the way she walked in.
Oh yeah, she's very
she's very confident, man.
Yeah, that comes from good parents.
Nice, Gia.
And you're 14?
15.
15. Beautiful.
I guess
Beautiful.
apparently she watched you on that reality show years ago.
Oh wow. Okay. Awesome.
Nice. You want to sit down here for 5 minutes and talk? Come here. No, come on. Gia, come on, please. Come on. You're good. We talked before. Just come for 5 minutes. Sit down. Come on. It's going to be nice for you. Ask a few questions. Come on. Come on, go sit down.
So
you never know what you're gonna get on Hopeaholics. You know what I'm saying? That's what makes it that much better.
This is cool.
I did have the one question that I had that is non-recovery related is how did you get into the WWE?
So my story is kind of interesting in the sense of it's one like I don't think it'll ever happen again in the sense of somebody going into wrestling, because when I was living in LA, so I graduated with my business management degree, and then I was like, I'm not really ready to go into the corporate world, and my parents were like, huh? You're not going to get a job? What are you going to do? And I was like, you know what? I'm going to move to LA because I was in Orange County. So I'm going to move to LA and kind of like see what that's all about. And obviously my parents were like, oh God, you know? And so I dabbled into just doing a bunch of the typical Hollywood life in the sense of I was bottle service girl at night, auditions during the day. Your typical, totally what you hear all the time.
Yep.
And so I would get little baby gigs, like just enough to keep you on the hook, you know, from whether it was like a magazine cover or something in fitness. And then I got some like acting little background things. I thought I hit it big because I got on Entourage. You guys, my part on Entourage, I've said this story before. The fact that I was so freaking stoked about it, it's kind of looking back is like laughable. Because I tell my parents and my family, and I'm like, you guys, I'm on Entourage. And it was like when Entourage was sick.
Yeah.
I tell them the episode, and my brothers call me, and they're like, I didn't see you. And I'm like, what do you mean you didn't see me? I literally was back like a person walking in the back.
Right.
Like you would miss me if you blinked.
Yeah.
So I would just get little baby gigs like that just to give me like that little bit of hope. Anytime that I thought like, maybe this isn't for me, I would get something just enough, but just a little nugget. Anyways, long story short, WWE came into town. They called them at the time diva searches, go to all the major cities, and it's just like a cattle call. You just have thousands of girls come in, they see you, that's it. I'm like, okay, another audition, whatever. Go in. I'm in the Los Angeles headquarters, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, wait, whoa. This is like WWF when I used to watch back in the day, same era that you're talking about, Hulk Hogan, WWF, like back in the day style, right? I hadn't watched it in years because now it's WWE. And I'm seeing all these pictures and Andre the Giant and Hulk Hogan. I'm like, wait a minute, what? I'm looking through my actual, what my like agent had sent me, and I'm like reading it, and I finally was like put two and two together, and I was like, holy shit. If I can get this job, this has everything infused into what I want to do. One, you have to create a character. You're acting.
Yeah.
You're live on television. You're performing in front of massive live audiences. You get to travel the world. You're a professional athlete. I was missing that competitive drive, that competitive edge. So you had to handle all the physicality required that is inside the ring. And then WWE does do a beautiful job with their outreach programs in the community. Like I got to go to Afghanistan twice to go see our troops. Anything military is huge to me. My dad served in Vietnam, and my brother is currently in the army, or my brother-in-law is currently in the army. So military and our veterans and things of that nature are very important. And so I was like, wow, if I can get this job, God, this is the shit. This is where it's at. And so call back. I make it to my last callback. And it was basically the in-ring physicality tryout. So it's 4 weeks. See if you can handle what's required inside the wrestling ring. Huh? Yes, exactly. And you're dealing with Los Angeles girls, right? So they narrowed it down to 16 of us. And on the first day, when they're like, okay, everyone hop in the ring, start your forward rolls, the girls were like, you want us to do what? No. Bye. So 4 girls bounced on day 1. And then a couple girls got injured during the in-ring, the tryout. And then all that really, what was coming out of that was, I always refer it to AAA minor leagues of baseball. So if you got through that 4 weeks of in-ring physicality training, then you were granted a NXT developmental contract. And all that meant was you were going to go live in Tampa, because at the time that's where the facility was. And then you're going to go learn how to wrestle, work on your character, work on the craft, and then hope that you make it to the main roster, which is Monday Night Raw or SmackDown, and then in baseball, major leagues.
Right.
Well, after those 4 weeks, I got the developmental contract, but then God put me in the right place at the right time, and they were doing Total Divas at the same time. And then all of a sudden, so I don't know who exactly made the call, but all of a sudden they wanted to go with 2 brand new girls that knew nothing about wrestling, didn't know how to wrestle, coming into the business, super green, to be on the show. And so I got a call saying, hey, will you come in for this audition? And I was like, yeah, of course. And then I go in, get hammered, drilled a million questions for 3.5 hours. I had just started dating Jonathan, and I left that meeting, and I was like, and this has only happened 2 times in my life, and I'm ready for another big moment, God. I walked out, and I was like, I called Jonathan, and I was like, I just nailed that motherfucking meeting. I got this job for sure. Hop in the car, drive to the Bay, where I'm from. Jonathan meets my parents for the first time. It's a Friday. Saturday, I get the call from the producer saying, welcome on board. Your life's about to change. You're hopping on a plane on Monday to WrestleMania, and we start filming. So I basically skipped all of developmental and went right to the main roster of wrestling and reality television at the same exact time, and then never looked back. And then Jonathan asked my dad for my hand in marriage on Sunday.
Yeah. I mean, how about perfect timing for you as well, huh?
It was crazy. Yeah, it really was.
But I was actually fresh out of rehab too. So that's what's really, really crazy as well. It's I had just gotten out of rehab. And obviously I wasn't telling the producers or anything that, by the way, I just, that didn't come out until later.
I'm sober 45 days.
Yeah, I'm sober about 35 days. Still want me? I'm running that straight and narrow.
So you're doing this stuff live, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do people ever screw up, or you forget what you're supposed to say, and
yes,
and then you just have to wing it
all the time,
or what?
All the time. That's why WWE, in the sense of, it's the hardest schedule. There's no off season. You're on the road 209 days out of the year. So people forget that, MLB or NFL, those guys have off seasons. They're playing during their season, and then they have their break, and they're either with their family or whatever.
Right.
WWE, there is no such thing. You're on all the time, and then when you're not on, you have a lot of stuff that you have, whether it's appearances for an upcoming pay-per-view, or you're doing hospital visits, doing Make-A-Wishes, visiting our troops, doing something within the community, because that's the whole purpose of WWE, putting smiles on people's faces. So you're really on the clock 24/7.
Yeah.
Not in the severity of a surgeon, but damn near in the sense of your time and how you have to kind of be on. So the travel alone will kill someone. There's a lot of people that will super talented, great, but then once they get on board and they start doing the travel, it takes you out, because you're traveling from city to city, and you're not traveling in private planes. You're traveling commercial, and when you're first starting out, you're traveling coach, and then once you make hopefully a name for yourself, then you can up your contract a little bit and try to get that first class. But then you're going in rental car, going into the arena, and then after that, say live show, not televised, is then you're driving 4 hours to the next city, and then waking up and doing it all over again. So you got to have your nutrition and all those things are coming into play.
And people aren't they're not feeding you. Like, you don't have a personal,
No,
it's like, it's time to eat.
no, it's all on you. So that's why it's super competitive. So if you are disciplined and you can handle that pressure, you're going to thrive. If you can't, you'll crumble and you'll fail and somebody else will take your job. So it's super cutthroat.
So everybody that does that needs to listen to David Goggins every day, every morning.
Every day.
And especially his little one thing where he says, where most people quit, this is where I get started.
Totally.
You know?
Yeah, it's super true. And then when it comes to things that happen, whether it's a live event or live television, oh my God, all the time. There's like funny little bloopers that actually make it that people have seen. But like guys, you know, during a Royal Rumble or something like that will be sprinting to the ring and then trip and fall. And people will miss their spots because you have to think, not only like traveling 290 days, you're on different time zones, you're coming in, sleep is like all over the place. So, and then on top of that, people are married, they have kids. So you have no idea like what somebody personally is going through too, that weighs in. So you have to be able to manage your personal life as well and be able to kind of like almost put that over here. And then when it's game time and be all in, because obviously when you're wrestling somebody, their life is in your hands. But when you're out in the ring, sometimes, you know, you'll have botched spots where people sometimes forget. But when you're in there with someone that is like a veteran and has been doing it for a very long time, they're so good with being able to like clean it up and have
like the other person totally forgot.
They'll go into a whole nother like little segment move, and then you'll be in a headlock and they'll be like, get your shit together, bro. Like, we're going home, dog. Like, let's go. You know? So yeah. It's cool because when you're with somebody that is way more experienced with you, you feel way more at ease because you know that they're able to like lead you through if you forget spots.
Right.
So, but
is it like a little bit of acting and real fighting? Like, or was the rumors like, or was that rumors of like acting?
So it is completely, think of it like a soap opera. So you're totally acting for sure because your character is so over the top, so lively, whether you're a good guy or a bad guy. But then all of the physicality that is inside the ring, that is all real. But nobody's trying to hurt the other person. So like in a sense, it's like stunt work to a degree, but you're really taking a suplex. You're really jumping off the ropes. You're really doing a clothesline, like you're really taking a back bump.
I mean, the tables part
that hurts. That should hurt. The kendo stick getting hit like that hurts. Like everything. If you don't know how to fall properly, that's why people, you know, get injured a lot. You know, torn ACLs. But I also think a lot of injuries come from lack of sleep and also overuse. So I think it would be really, really a huge help in the injury aspect if there was an off season for WWE. Give the ladies like time for their body to recover, because when you're using something like that and performing at such a high elevated space day in and day out, because yes, we have Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown, but we also have live events that are non-televised. So those are another 3 nights out of the week. So you're performing 4 nights out of the week. And your body is not resting really, because think about, you have to travel home. So you're in an airplane or a rental car. So by the time you actually get to, say, sit on your couch and
plus you're still hitting the gym, right?
Totally.
Because I mean, you gotta.
You're wrestling in a bikini for damn sake.
You gotta stay. Yeah. You gotta stay fit.
Yeah, and that's another thing too, and that's why.
Well, I mean, the food part seems to be the hardest for me. I could make it to the gym. I can
Sure.
go on a little bit of sleep, but like, if somebody's not bringing me my food.
And it's so true. And that's also another thing is like when you finish a show and you're traveling to the next city, you hope that you did your due diligence and either packed enough food for that drive, because if you didn't, then you're pulling off to what? Fast food and gas stations.
You're pulling off to fast food for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Or something horrible gas station is even worse than fast food.
My go-to always was like, I'm looking for nuts or something like that has nothing in it. And then the reality of the situation is Jonathan would be, because Jonathan's really good with nutrition, And he would be like, yeah, but you can't eat the whole bag of nuts. Like what are you doing?
I'll eat the whole bag
Me
of
too.
nuts, so
Me too.
I need help from Jonathan because, like, you know, Jonathan's shredded.
He is.
It's a, huh? It does. There's times when you're not shredded.
He always looks good.
I always have. I tell people I have really, really nice abs, Jonathan. Really nice abs. You just can't see them. It just got a layer over them. They're there though. You got any more questions for her?
Wait. So, just to be clear,
Yeah.
is there like they're twins or is there sisters?
Yes.
Is that your sister or is that a different?
No, there's
those are
Nikki and
different.
Brie Bella.
Okay.
Well, now they're Garcia, but those are the Bella twins. So when you were watching Total Divas, those two are sisters.
And then okay.
So you're right,
And your
But
name was?
Eva Marie. So my full name is Natalie Eva Marie, and then on the show I just go by my middle name. Yeah, and I always go through this whole thing of like, what do you like to be called, Natalie or Eva or Eva Marie? And it's so hard for me because it's almost like I have 3 first names and I answer to any of them. And
I just call you all 3. Like I mean,
he
I haven't.
texted
Like,
me. He was like, he said like you're all 3. Like
I
yeah,
said
she'll be
Natalie
there.
Eva Marie is.
Yeah, like
Everybody knows who Natalie Eva Marie is, though.
Yeah, so I feel like when I'm anything that's like in writing or like in anything where you see my name in print, Natalie Eva Marie. But then in conversation or whatnot, I'll answer to Natalie. I'll answer to Eva. I'll answer to Eva Marie. It's all.
Oh yeah, I did.
all
I
are
did.
good.
I did text you about the flight and stuff, and I just put Natalie. I wasn't like Natalie Eva Marie. Would you rather have us pick you up or?
Oh, right.
I just put Natalie.
Yeah, and then Australia. We had some business in Australia, and they're cute. They just put an M, so it's like, you know.
Oh really?
I'm just a 3-person.
So are you still like doing the WWE like stuff, or are you kind of like not?
So I went back in 2021 with the pink hair, and I did a run. We call it a run. So basically, like, it means you're going into a pay-per-view. So I went in and did a storyline into SummerSlam, which was out in Vegas. And then I stepped away in 2022 to do my first lead action movie. So then now I was supposed to go back in 2022. Yeah, in 2022. And then now it's just a matter of figuring out what makes the most sense of me coming back, because I am definitely a character that stirs up a lot of controversy and a lot of heat. So it kind of has to make sense for me to come back and wreck shit up a little bit and cause a little storm.
But that is still popping. Like all like the wrestling and stuff is still like going. Like
Oh, yeah.
people watch it.
Oh yeah. It's huge.
It's always been huge. It's been huge since since I was a kid, when it was WWF.
Yeah. I mean, I think
Why
what's
did
really
they change it?
because they had a lawsuit against the zoo people, right? It was like World Wildlife Federation.
Oh,
And then Vince always liked that it's more entertainment anyways. So, which it is.
yeah.
But yeah, it is ongoing.
You
It's
should try and
nonstop.
like. I know you're like you're an actor, but I feel like you could like if you audition a lot more. I don't know. I see you as being like a really big actor. I don't know. Like I don't know. You just got like a classic.
Okay, I love
like the-
her.
like
I
the-
love her
classic
even
look.
more.
Like
you know what?
Like the Rock.
She needs to keep.
You're the female Rock.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I mean,
he's bald though.
not. I mean,
That's
just
true.
what I'm saying is,
I get what you're saying.
He's
wrestled.
class. Yeah.
I get
Now
what you're
he's
saying.
like one of the top actors in the world.
and John Cena. I keep thinking right.
Yeah, John Cena's killing it. I mean, he just
He
came
was
out.
in the Barbie movie. He was a mermaid. I was
Oh
like,
my gosh, really? He was in. Did you guys watch the Peacemaker?
oh yeah,
He
only a
killed
little bit.
I loved that one. I thought he was like funny and good, and it was great. He's definitely. I feel like John's in a ton of stuff now.
Wasn't he in the Fast and the Furious movies?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
No, he's
He
in
is
the
killing
newest.
it.
I swear he's in the newest one, right?
I
Yeah.
think so.
10.
Yep.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's definitely has transitioned from wrestling into mainstream huge movies really well. So if I can do that, that'd be amazing.
Look at that. Shane's coming in. Oh, Callie Muscle's in the house.
I like your shoes. Oh my goodness.
That's what I said. That was the first thing that I said.
Shane's
Oh wow,
shoes.
those look.
He probably picked those ones. I mean, those are pretty dope.
Those are,
I will admit. Those
Yeah.
are my favorite.
I don't want to know the price of those though.
$199.
How does it, now that you're in here, do you mind me asking a question?
No, I don't mind.
See, this is Hopeaholics. This is how it goes. You never know what you're going to get when you tune in for an episode. Obviously, out of every episode, the main thing is you do get hope out of it. But it is nice to have your 15. Excuse me. I have the problem with, because Shane put it in my head that you were 14 when you walked in the door. But you're 15. How is it for you seeing your dad doing what he's doing?
I think it's like a really good thing too, because like I think there should be more people like trying to reach out and like which there is still like a lot of people doing that, but like I think he's like spreading the message like in several different ways, and I think like this is a really good way to spread the message. Like it's just a unique way to like let people know and have like people come on with maybe their past addictions. And I think that like even when like just owning a rehab is like cool to tell people like, oh yeah, he you know, like helps people get sober. And then like my friends don't even know what like rehab is. They're like, wait, what's a rehab? And I'm like, you don't know what like maybe like, and I don't know. So it's just cool to tell people that. And like I get like information off of him. And since I like go to school with like kids too, it's like I see how my school tries to like project like and say, oh, like drugs is bad. But like I think I've told him you should come into my school like and like tell like they have like it's like a private school and like they have like a little stage. And I was like, you should like try and tell them about like fentanyl and drugs, because there has been occasions where like kids are in like not my specific school that I know of, but like different schools of like kids passing away because of like maybe fentanyl. I'm not sure the exact reason, but like I think he's just spreading like he's like I think it's just a unique idea to do this and spread like the message.
I think that's awesome. I mean, a huge testament to you, because being a 15-year-old girl, being able to come in here like a boss, sit down, talk. Clearly you guys have done a hell of a job, because she is a pleasure and a joy. And I think that that is the main, I always say too, especially with like having nieces and nephews and seeing them at such a young age, I'm like really thankful that my drug and alcohol using were over, hopefully, you know, God willing, but because of the fentanyl and how easy things are laced and things of that nature, God knows what could have happened back in my day, you know, because it is important, especially spreading like the awareness and the fact that it is so easily consumable is crazy.
Yeah.
And scary.
Yeah. It's really scary. That's my son right there.
How many kids do you have?
They're twins.
9.
3.
No, he's got 3.
I was like, damn, 9.
3.
3? Okay.
He's my middle son.
They look
Hello?
17. He's the one I was telling you about that holds a 4.2 app.
Oh, right. Okay. Yes. That's amazing. That's huge. Yeah, that's fantastic. Okay, so you're the youngest.
Yep.
And how old's your oldest? The 22?
22.
22.
Yeah.
Okay.
She'll probably pop in at some
Yeah?
point. She might go to the meeting tonight. I don't know. I tried to text her, but she was sleeping still.
Yeah.
She works until like 2 a.m.
Really?
doing the stuff that you talked about.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's what's even crazier is that I was able to do, I mean, at different phases of my life, but when I was doing bottle service and I was like bartending and doing that, I was also sober at the time.
Yeah.
So, and then there was a period of time where I wasn't.
Right.
You know, I got fired from jobs and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
So I lost my jobs from my substance abuse as well. But you know, there is one of those things where I think the messaging too is like it's all over the place. Like the disease is in people that you would never think that it even exists in, and people are have so many that's why I do love meetings and stuff, is because even though you're coming from so many different backgrounds, you grew up different, how you got into whatever substance or your preference or whatever it may be, it's all relatable because it's all the same pain. It's all the same struggle. It's all the same heartache. It's the same shame. And I think for me, it was like a really big one was the shame of thinking like, this is, a girl shouldn't be like this. Like, this is not the woman that my parents had raised me, because it was more of like, I didn't really see that many females talking about struggling with addiction or substance abuse, growing up. So it was very, a new kind of something very new to me when I first walked in, and then I got to see like my sponsor, and things of that nature, where I was like, damn, this is like alive and well and thriving in people. So to be able to kind of have the platform and share it and say that you can get help, is huge.
It's super important too. And because what you just said reminded me of, one of the missions of Hope, of the Hopeaholics. You
did great, by the way.
We can all come together in Alcoholics Anonymous or any 12-step program. And it doesn't matter what our background is. It doesn't matter what our religion is. It doesn't matter which political side we stand. It doesn't matter our gender, our sexual orientation. None of it matters. And we can all come together, right? And one of the things with the Hopeaholics, and one of the things that I'm hoping scares the government, because I truly believe that the government and our mainstream media is trying to divide us so much, because divided we're weak.
Oh, for sure.
And what if the one thing that brings this crazy divided country back together is actually the fentanyl crisis and a voice like ours? To get out there and talk about it and bring people together regardless of because it's pain. Everybody's suffering from pain. If you're out there doing crazy shit and rioting, there's pain involved there. There's something there. And, this platform for me is so much more than just, a Joe Rogan voice.
Sure.
Like, my goal is to be the #1 podcast, and not because I want to be like Joe Rogan or anything like that. I just want to bring people back together and stop these families from hurting.
Yeah.
Because they're in so much pain. We lost a good friend, one of our basketball teammates, 2 months ago to fentanyl.
Wow.
And I had to pick his mom up from the airport because she lives in Seattle, and his sister. And it was just unbelievable.
Not a good time.
She came on our Zoom meeting 2 weeks ago, though, and shared she wants to come and do the podcast. It's just a little bit hard for her right now.
Yeah. Was it, if you don't mind me asking, was it prescription, or was it just
illicit fentanyl off the streets?
Yeah.
And we don't even call it like overdose really anymore on this podcast. We call it poisoning, because
totally, I agree.
Illicit fentanyl, there is no safe dose of illicit fentanyl.
Yeah. Any
dose of fentanyl, illicit fentanyl,
potential death
is potential death.
Yeah.
It's like actually doing Russian roulette with.
Oh, for sure.
With 4 bullets in the chamber.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And at being somebody who has experience working in the drug and alcohol treatment industry for 22 years, I have never seen so much death that I've seen in the past 4 years. And I had a point, but then I forgot what it was.
I don't know.
You know what?
I don't know it. Don't even look at me, bro. Don't even look at me.
You know what's so funny though? Sometimes I lose my point, and then I'm watching the podcast later, and I'm like, Chad, it was this.
Come on, Chad. You can do it. You can do it.
That is the worst. And that's where I always think, like, why is the brain like that? I'm like, I'm literally going on a tangent, and then I lose my...
That's funny. Or we had one where his sister came in, and she said, Chad, I was watching the podcast, and I was screaming at the TV, but you didn't hear me. I knew the answer. I knew the answer.
Because we don't release them. Like, we'll be like 10 ahead, right?
Yeah.
10 podcasts
That's
ahead.
smart, by the way.
And my sister, she texted me one night. She was like, it was... I don't remember who.
I don't remember either.
But
the actor.
I was
talking
quoting
about an
somebody.
actor.
Yeah, I was quoting something somebody said.
Yeah.
And I said Tom Brady said
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
And
it wasn't Tom
It was
Brady.
that actor.
Yeah, I forget now.
Can't think
I
of his
remember
name.
now.
Dang, you guys screwed the pooch twice.
Yeah, we suck.
We do. Oh yeah,
We really
That's
suck.
old age, bro. It's old age.
Well, it's funny because I stare at Jonathan. Like you've probably seen me
Yeah.
multiple times. In
What's
the podcast.
next, Jonathan?
Well, I stare at him thinking that he's gonna like knows what's in my brain
Yeah.
and like helps me out with words, and I'm like, what am I doing? He's not inside my head.
Oh, he
It's
could be.
Sanity.
I stopped going to him for help.
Come on, bro.
because I'd be like, Shane, what was I saying? And he'll go like, I don't know. And I'm like,
He's like, I don't know. I'm not listening to you, bro.
Barely.
Wait, how long have you guys known each other?
I was creeping on 14, 15 years now.
Wow.
Yeah.
I won't tell you how I'm. You can go watch previous podcasts and you'll learn how I'm.
Chad had a counter with me. Fell in love right away. Right away. Don't be shy, bro. It's fine.
It's the first time he's from Canada.
He's fine.
People from Canada are weird. I met him in a men's locker room up in Lake
I
Arrowhead.
did not know the rules. I did not know the rules. Apparently.
They had a nice jacuzzi in there.
Yeah.
And he was just in there butt naked.
I never knew. That's what we do back in Canada.
Butt naked.
You know, you go into hot tubs naked.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And how I met him is he comes walking out of it.
Yeah, I did.
And I was like, I was with this gay guy, and the gay guy looks over at him. He says to me, that guy's a god.
Is that what he said? Those words exactly? Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice.
It was like 15 years
Yeah,
ago.
that was nice. Those
That's
times
hilarious.
better shape. Yeah. God.
And that was 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was love at first sight.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Exactly. Love at first sight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't in love.
We're still together.
But he's like one of those those people that come into your life, and like no matter what you do and no matter how mean to you no matter how mean I am to him, he won't leave.
I just keep showing up.
Yeah.
I've told him he's not welcome here anymore.
Asked for a
Next
key
he's
that day.
fucking
That
on
day,
the couch.
that day he said I wasn't welcome. I asked for a key. I said, okay, bro, give me a key to the house here.
Persistent.
Yes.
Yeah, but you know what? He really helps me. He got me 2 VA contracts, 3 VA contracts. He calls relentlessly. He told the poor lady on the phone that if he didn't get the contract, this was his last day of work.
Yeah, she gave it to us. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
She's one day she's gonna watch these podcasts.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah.
'Cause, like,
be a hip
you-
to it.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I mean, at some point
We're going to get well
we're
known.
right?
Yeah.
And people are gonna go back and watch everything.
That
Yeah.
bastard.
That
For sure.
happens, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
You go from like 100 views to 1,000 views to 10,000 to 100,000, and
And people will try to catch you slipping.
they'll
what you
catch me
said in
slipping.
the-
And you know what? I have to admit it all the time. Even if I'm quoting myself, I might be quoting myself wrong. The dates might be wrong. There's things that are going to be wrong, but the story basically
Sure.
is the same. So you don't have to get on there and troll.
Oh yeah. I know.
Have you ever commented to someone? Commented or like
Negative?
somebody got you and you bit? Like
So with the commenting, it's actually really crazy. So when I first got into WWE, so 2013, and that's when I first got on television, and that was the first time on Total Divas, and I was a bad guy immediately. And so like the hate comments
Oh,
were
yeah.
coming in like
Right.
crazy. And Jonathan was like, oh hell no. And Jonathan's super smart and super super witty.
Yeah.
And so Jonathan would bite back and
Yeah.
like comment back, but like super smart, where they didn't even understand like what he was even saying.
Or trying to.
And then finally I'm like, Jonathan, you can't do that. Like, don't give them like
Yeah, don't feed
the trolls. And then after like a couple months, I think finally then it sunk in like, oh, this is how this is, and
Yeah.
now nothing really.
That's
somebody got me on the DM like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I was because it went to my personal page
Sure.
too, and I was like, how did this
Yeah.
motherfucker get my personal page? and he said something really negative, and I like, it was 3:00 in the morning. I just woke up, drinking my first cup of coffee, and I was like, this motherfucker. So I
wrote him back.
I wrote him back, and then
It was a bad day.
literally 5 minutes later, he wrote me back, and I was like,
"You're up." You're up at 3:30? Who the fuck are you? The fuck are you doing up so late?
and then I bit again. And
Yeah,
I was
of course you
after
did. It's 3 in the morning,
after
bro.
the second one, I was like, what am I doing? This
Yeah.
guy's doing this on purpose.
Of course.
He's just baiting
Yes.
me.
Yeah.
Yes. Once again, circling back to like people, whatever, rioting, doing whatever, it comes from pain.
Yeah,
like
from
if I
pain.
saw somebody like that was a good friend of mine leave like a troll ass comment on somebody that they don't know's page, I literally would call them and be like, I think I need, are you okay?
Yeah.
Like, do I need to check you in somewhere? Because that's insane. Like I could never imagine myself going on another individual's page that I do not know
And leaving something bad.
and
Who
leaving
cares?
a shitty comment.
Yeah.
How about this?
Never.
Scroll through.
Yeah.
Next.
Next.
You don't have to follow people.
Yeah.
Like you follow people because you
I know.
like
If you
to.
don't like me
Bugger
or
off.
you or
Yeah.
why would you just unfollow? I unfollow people all the time.
Totally.
I unfollowed a specific. I'm going to tell you guys who I unfollowed. I unfollowed The Rock
Yeah, so did I.
in 2020
So did I.
when he came.
did too.
When he
Yeah.
when he came out.
When he came out.
That's not, I'm just going to leave it at that because
Yeah.
this is not a political.
No, he
podcast.
came out and we don't like
and
it.
I didn't like it, so
Yeah.
I unfollowed.
I'm
him.
not a fan of
are
The
you?
Rock.
I was like, are you really? That's when I was like, are you really that?
I know.
Can I just say like naive? Or I don't know what to say.
Or paid or
I even stopped watching
Paid?
that one movie.
Maybe.
Must be paid.
something.
Yeah, paid.
He can't
I don't
believe
know.
that.
Paid.
I don't know.
Like,
He
you can't
he
believe
makes
that.
a lot of cake though.
It's almost like they have to over there sometimes.
Yeah.
Though it's like,
Well, that's what I was saying too, where I'm like, okay, if you are at this significant level, right? Say, for instance, Jennifer Lopez.
yeah,
And then obviously she is top tier in the sense of
Yeah.
like globally known.
yeah.
And then meaning has massive influence. However, it's kind of crazy to then speak on something that is political, for instance. If
It's like kind of like Gates is doing now
it's
with the medical stuff. He's in one field, he's going into the medical field.
it's just a little
Yeah.
dicey unless you're super passionate and know what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
Right.
Then that's a little bit different. But if you're just kind of like going with what the I guess
What's mainstream for them?
I know. That's what's scary. That's what's crazy about Hollywood
Yeah.
is and that's kind of why I ended up getting into my first hunt and hunting and putting it out there on social media because initially, so I got my first elk in October, and my godfather, a huge hunter, so and obviously we're meat eaters, and then Jonathan and I have always wanted to experience going on a hunt and sourcing our own food.
Yeah.
And then the opportunity came, and then I wanted to put it out on social, right? But then I got a ton of people being like, just so you know, you are going to lose a ton of followers, and I don't know, like, just be really cautious, yada, yada, yada. And then obviously because I married someone very, very smart, that when we put it out there, the narrative was very much like in a manner that is absorbable and not just like a trophy photo.
Yeah.
And the hunting community rallied like and welcomed me with open arms, but also too, I find it very annoying in the sense of Hollywood promoting, say, all of these like massive movies that are using guns and have gun violence, but then literally on the same note being like anti-gun, but it's okay for you to promote your box office movie.
Yeah.
Like it's very contradicting, and so I find that very just odd and
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah. No, I find it ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just straight up ridiculous. But hey, you know what's but that's the great thing about this era that we live in now, because we don't have to get fed I mean, because we're in a really horrible time when it comes to mainstream media, both sides of it. Now you've got these platforms, like where people like Joe Rogan, who's always kind of leaned this way, is now like at least saying whatever he's saying.
Oh, for sure. I feel thank goodness for a platform like Joe, because his platform is so large and so many people actually tune in and listen to what he's saying. And he has I mean, anybody that wants to talk shit about Joe is cuckoo, because the diverse amount of people that he has on his platform should speak for itself, in the sense of just like all over the map, from like UFO experts to to
just
scientists,
like straight nerds,
totally
like geeked out guys,
to a UFC fighter, to someone in the WWE, to a personal trainer. He has like such a wide
just some random
variety.
comedian.
Yes, exactly. So it's like he's getting input and thought processes and logic and all this stuff from so many people, and then so many like really qualified doctors and things of that nature, that it's like, thank goodness he had his platform, because he had some people out there actually speaking about matters that really needed to be spoken about, other than what you were hearing
That
on
went
your
against the
mainstream.
trend.
Yeah, it went against the trend.
Yeah,
and
went against the trend, and he still stayed
his
up there.
platform was able to
survive.
to not be canceled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, bro.
So
And they
I mean,
tried.
I think they did. They tried to cancel everybody.
I know.
It's fucked up.
I mean, take it as a compliment at this point in the
Yeah.
game. I mean, like, if they're trying to cancel you, that means that, damn, I must be saying something like truthful and something that is good, and something that is right. You know?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm ready to wrestle. I'm thinking about giving it a go.
Give it a go.
You can't. You're gonna get injured, bro. And she can't. It's.
I'm not
it's-
wrestling her.
I'll
Just you need to make sure you have your, what the guys wrestle in. You know, your little short.
Oh no.
She was trying to say, "Hey, bro." She's trying to say. She's trying to say thong.
There's no way.
No, she's trying to say thong, bro.
They
That's
do
the word.
that.
Thong.
They haven't changed that up yet.
I mean, some guys do wrestle in like tights, leggings, pants, but a lot of them still wrestle in the old school, like
Speedos.
I mean, Speedo. Yeah.
And you're probably comfortable in those. Coming
Very
from Canada.
comfortable. Very comfortable.
I'm thinking he's more of like the Brat or whatever style, considering your story of how you met. That's probably more your vibe.
Yeah. I like to wear the overcoat only, nothing underneath. So when I take it off, it's like, oh, I'm sorry. How could I have forgotten? I'll be right back.
And that's how he wins his matches.
Yes. And my brother always told me when I was 20, I'll never forget, he said, Shane, if you're ever in a mood or ever in a position where you get in trouble or you're uncomfortable, just pull your pants down.
That's not good advice.
Just pull them down and just walk away. That's what he said. If you're ever uncomfortable, you feel embarrassed, just take your clothes off. Everything's going to be fine.
It will be fine after that, though.
Yeah.
If you strip down naked, you cannot be embarrassed anymore.
That's what he told me.
You can no longer be embarrassed. The world has seen you naked.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Was that his point?
That's what his point
okay,
was.
I understand
Yes.
that. I understand that.
Yeah, I love him. He's a good guy.
Yeah. His brother's crazy.
Yeah, he's crazy.
He's the
motherfucker.
one guy I just wouldn't fight, and he's not even that.
really?
He's not that big.
He's not. He's just.
Yeah.
You know, one of those
are the
guys?
ones.
Yeah.
I beat him so much as a kid that now I can't fight him. I couldn't fight him since he turned 16. I couldn't fight him.
He's big, right?
I'm big.
Yeah.
Yeah, my brother's not as big as me.
How tall is he?
He's 6 foot.
He's 6 foot.
Yeah, just violent though.
Younger?
Younger.
Younger.
Youngers are usually more violent. I'm the youngest.
Yeah,
and
my mom was violent
too.
too.
I'm the most violent.
Yeah.
Yeah. My brother's. I don't think he's ever been in a fight before.
How many siblings
He's
are
a
you?
lover.
I have 3 sisters and a brother.
Okay.
Yeah.
Big family. And you
Yeah.
have?
I have one real brother and 3 half sisters and 1 stepbrother and a stepsister.
Oh, wow.
So there's like 6 of us.
Wow. Okay.
So I'm Italian and Danish.
Okay.
My dad is Danish and my mom is a de Medici.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And wait, are you the only
What?
problem
Addict,
child?
yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Totally.
Wow.
The only
See,
problem
like
child.
that type of stuff fascinates me, because so you have your case where you're all blood, right?
Yeah.
And none of your siblings have a substance or alcohol problem.
Nope.
Wild.
Yeah.
So you're the unicorn in your family, and then you have my family where, thanks to my husband who is a PhD and doctor, that he has not gotten, but can remotely see that each one of myself and my siblings have the gene for sure.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't see it in these two right here at all.
But see, what I think that is good, that obviously they're around it. Like, they know that they're aware of it. They know that it exists. It's a possibility.
Yeah.
Which I think that is also different in this day and age, where like growing up, and this is nothing like not a knock to my parents because they were busy trying to put food on the table.
Yeah, of course.
It's more along the lines of like, you don't really talk about those things. You don't really talk about like feelings or any type of situation or really any type of drug or alcohol. It's more like longs of don't drink or type of thing.
I told my kid if he doesn't drink until he's 18 or use drugs, I'll throw him 20 grand.
Oh,
he
damn.
He said done. He said done.
That's a nice incentive.
Gia wants that incentive from you because she is absolutely against drugs and alcohol.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
My kids too. It's crazy. I don't see their craziness that I had when I was growing up. The insecurities, that stuff. I don't see it in them.
Yeah,
really?
I had all of those. I was an addict before I ever picked up.
Yeah.
For sure.
I had all the problems.
Yeah.
Anyways, we should probably wrap up
Callie's
because
outside. He's excited to get going.
See
baby.
what I mean? I could talk for.
Callie's
so that
out
just
there.
means.
Is there anything you want to say to them?
That's it.
Whoever they are. We don't.
I can't wait to come back because I could talk, clearly for hours and hours. But I just appreciate you guys for doing this, having me out here, having Jonathan out here.
Yeah.
And really spreading the awareness that there is hope, that there is not. There is light at the end of the tunnel. I think that's what is most important, and that's what is like my takeaway from listening to previous episodes and things, that everybody has a struggle, everybody has a pain that they're dealing with on a daily basis, but there is hope if you are able and willing to do the work that comes with that. If you want something bad enough, you'll get it. It might take some time. Keep after it.
And also when the pain of remaining the same.
Oh, that's another cliche. That's another cliche one, but it's true.
The fear of change.
Yeah, it's so true.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate that it takes myself, even to this day, like to be in pain to change.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be in my program. It can be
I
in
know, it's
anything.
crazy.
It's like really, really crazy.
Yeah.
So, I appreciate you guys having this platform, doing what you're doing, and
we'll see you next month.
Thank you. We
Yes.
appreciate
Yes.
you.
You and Jonathan
being
for
on
sure.
our platform.
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah. It's a big deal.
Regulars.
It's a big
They're
deal.
going to be our first regulars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, sounds
I like
good.
it.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Especially Orange County. Come on now.
Yeah. Who doesn't want to
Who
come
doesn't
here?
want to come out here?